WWL TV, which is a CBS affiliate in New Orleans. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this around for a second so you can see what's going on the ground in the city of New Orleans. Let me hold on one second here. By this time, we knew there were hundreds of deaths, and by the time it was all said and done, more than 1,800 lives were lost. Yeah. And we're not hearing anything like that in this storm. So, as bad as it was, hopefully, there are no more unfortunate injuries or any more deaths. Sure. When you talk about injury, you always have to talk about the natural disaster side, and then you have the issues, right, that were man-made. We had the levee issues, and then we also had the incompetence for planning in so many cases. You remember how many people were packed into the Superdome? I mean, there were so many other issues beyond the natural disaster there. Well, some of us do not call it a natural disaster at all. We call it a man-made disaster. Right. The hurricane was the only part of that was natural. I'll never get past that, probably. So. Definitely. And a lot of people who went through it, it was, a lot of it, and there was so much anger. If you're just joining my live, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching a complete coverage of what's going on in the city of New Orleans. As you may know, Hurricane Ida just ripped parts of New Orleans apart. And we're watching it live and courtesy of WWL, which is a CBS affiliate, WWL4 in New Orleans. So we're watching it live of what's going on in New Orleans. So this is why I'm going on live, let you guys see what's going on for yourselves. So we're continuing coverage of what's going on in New Orleans when it comes to Hurricane Ida. So enjoy. Our social media will alert you immediately, whether we're awake or asleep, so we'll always bring you information. We'll tweet it out that we're under tropical storm warning, and it may sound like there was another storm coming, but it's for Ida. We're still just seeing impact from Ida. They changed our hurricane warnings to tropical storm warnings because we're not facing hurricane force winds anymore, but we could see tropical storm force winds. Not very likely, but we'll see some gusty conditions through today. So notice we are gusting to 36 at Shell Beach, still pretty strong gusts, gusting to 35 on the lakefront, 24 at the airport, and 23 at Grand Isle. So really still a pretty good south-south wind. And whenever you have a persistent wind in southeast Louisiana and South Mississippi, if it's out of the wrong South Mississippi, if it's out of the wrong direction, it's going to create higher tides. So our surge that came up has not had a chance to go out yet. So the tides are still really high. We still have really high water down all the way up through the feet. We showed you that live shot. We also showed you the live shot for Alliance. That's kind of the same area and the same waterway that is causing flooding for Lower Jefferson up to parts of Plaquemines as you get closer to the Alliance area. So the water has come up through, here's Grand Isle, it's come up through the bay here, and that's what's causing our rising water in that area. Hey everybody, it's Lions Den. For those of you who just joining me right here on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and right here on Haps TV, I'm doing a complete coverage of the situation in New Orleans. I want to give a shout out to WWL Channel 4, which is a CBS affiliate in New Orleans, to give complete coverage of what's going on when it comes to Hurricane Ida. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm watching it as we speak, along with you guys, and we'll try to keep continuing coverage of what's going on in New Orleans. So enjoy. We're watching a huge one for the East Bank of Jefferson Parish. This new update is that the West Bank of Jefferson Parish is also included in this flood water advisory, including Grand Isle and West Weeka. Yeah. And I'm still waiting. Maybe we just haven't gotten enough word yet, but we're still wondering, what the condition of Grand Isle is. Yeah, we heard just from the conditions and the wind and storm surges that we know that they went through that it's not going to be good, but we haven't been able to get in contact with anyone who will give us their concrete details about what happened there. And normally, we'll call in and let us know and blah, 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 but just... and he's probably having the same cell phone issues as well, and then it's not like anybody can drive there. I'm sure Highway 1 is still in the water. Sure. And I'm like, I'm just going to say, we're kind of getting our first picture here now. We can't put this on air, but I know a lot of people are watching us on social media. Our reporter, Mike McDaniel, we stationed him down in Terrebonne Parish during this. He just posted a long post about Terrebonne Parish, and he said there's no Wow.
Just continue to reach on the line. That's good. Yeah, and if y'all find the show, let me know. You can certainly read it as well. He said at this point there are no reports of people needing rescue, but also the communication is spotty at best. So crews are going out and assessing areas like what most areas are trying to do right now. Did he mention the extent of damage you saw? Yeah, let's talk about.
I do have this post pulled up now. Things right, it's very long, but he's actually sectioned it off into different issues to give people an update. What was your question, Eric?
If you have some sense of the extent of damage in Terrebonne, because we know that there's a ton of LaFouche. Yeah, well, he did post about floodgates and levees, so let me mention this. Levees held up and no reported problems. This is in Terrebonne. The Bubba floodgate and one smaller one had a few issues during the storm, but remained operations and held up. All, of course, are going to be inspected in the coming days. You see, Shiva, that you want to read?
I don't want to repeat everyone that you said, but I guess we should touch on electricity there. It says 3 service providers in Terrebonne. Okay, yeah.
Evacuees, here's one. He says there has been no decision on the evacuation and return to Terrebonne Parish. That decision will be made later and will be done on a priority basis. Business will be allowed that first. Checkpoints will be set up by National Guard and officers.
Yeah, thank you so much for that update, because we've been
It's a really
wondering
long post, and if you're on Facebook, you can find his Facebook page, and it is a great breakdown just for Terrebonne Parish. He is in there with the lead, that stage down there with the leaders.
Yeah, so he's got all the updates.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Lions Den, and what I'm doing right now, right here on Haps TV, shouts out to Haps TV, along with WWL, which is the New Orleans CBS affiliate. We're watching it live of what's going on in the city of New Orleans, of what happened with Hurricane Ida. So this is what's going on right now on live of WWL, which is a CBS affiliate. So please enjoy it.
So we're still waiting on that update. But I can only imagine what officials are trying to do, right? They're trying to gather information, get it out to residents, just as we are. So as the Entergy CEO asked for patience, right? Everybody's frustrated. Everybody wants information. Officials are trying to gather information just like we are. They can't be everywhere in the area, so they have to talk to their different sources to get information to deliver it to you.
Okay, we're about to hear from the mayor of New Orleans about the situation on Hurricane Ida. Here we go.
Good afternoon, and thank you all so much for being here. You know, as I walked up to the podium, I got a little emotional, just all of a sudden. The bottom line is, anyone who experienced Hurricane Katrina 16 years ago, experienced it firsthand, and even the full recovery of this city, helping her rebuild herself, we should all be grateful as relates to what we experienced on last night. A Category 4 hurricane slammed into our coast and sat on us for nearly 12 hours. The worst case scenario, it did not happen. We did not have another Katrina. And that's something, again, we should all be grateful for. However, the impact is absolutely significant. While we held the line, no doubt about that, now is not the time for reentry. And I'm just wanting to put that out there to our residents who did heed our warnings, took our advice, and evacuated the city. But now is not the time for reentry. We'll tell you a little bit more as we move through this press conference. Today is going to be a day for assessments across the board. We are only at the beginning of that process, determining what the actual impacts have been across the city of New Orleans. City agencies have been out since daybreak. They're going block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood. No one will be left out. No one has been left out. NOPD began making checks last night and transmitting that information to our Orleans Parish Communication District, who is the receiver of that info and ensures that our department gets the necessary information and the data to respond accordingly. But this is how we collect our data as it relates to the full extent of the impacts to the city of New Orleans, again, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood.
If y'all just joining us on my live, ladies and gentlemen, this is Lions Den. We're doing a continued coverage of what's going on in the city of New Orleans as Hurricane Ida ripped parts of the city apart. So what you're watching right now, you ladies and gentlemen, is the mayor of New Orleans speak on the condition of what's going on in the city. Enjoy.
But it is a challenge that, again, we will address and we will get through it as partners do. The Sewage and Water Board were impacted by those challenges, but at the end of the day, held the line, did what we needed, our system, our utility, what we needed our utility to do. Again, held that line. We did not experience any widespread structural destruction. We're still assessing, but from our assessments thus far, this remains a fact. Of course, we had some buildings collapse, we had some fires and the like, but I'm talking about extensive damages in terms of destruction. So far, we have not had reports of massive loss of life, but we did have a tragedy. And one is too many. More details on that will come
Okay, that's the mayor of New Orleans. Just had a press conference. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to do a continued coverage of the situation in New Orleans when it comes to Hurricane Ida. So we'll be